In the world of trading, everything just screams, go faster, faster, right? But what if the single greatest advantage you could ever have is actually to be slower? Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful paradox, why the most successful traders aren't the quickest ones, but the calmest. Let's dive in. This right here, this is the whole puzzle. In a world that is completely obsessed with high-frequency trading and instant execution, the real lasting edge comes from stillness. Now, I know that probably sounds completely backward, especially if you're just starting out. So let's break down exactly why it's so true. Okay, so let's start with the big one, the myth of speed. When you first look at a trading chart, every single flicker, every tick up or down, it just seems to scream at you for an immediate reaction. The belief is that the fastest person to click the button wins. But is that really how it works? So on one hand, you've got the beginner's dream. React faster, analyze faster, execute faster. It's just this frantic race against the clock. But the reality, for the traders who actually survive in this game, is on the other side. It's all about calm, deliberate thinking. Because at the end of the day, speed just creates stress and really costly mistakes. Calmness, that creates clarity and consistency.
And you have to get this, the market is almost perfectly designed to make you panic. I mean, it's an environment that literally thrives on emotional reactions. But here's the secret. It only pays the people who can resist that urge, the ones who can see through all that noise and make a considered decision, not just a gut reaction.
So if being calm is so great, why is it so ridiculously hard to do? Well, it's because of the emotional storm that every single new trader has to learn to navigate. When you first open up a chart, the market doesn't feel like a system with rules. It feels like pure, absolute chaos. And here it is. This is one of the biggest, most dangerous traps for any new trader. The chart itself creates this powerful illusion, a totally false sense of urgency. Every single candle taking up or down just screams, do something, act now. But you want to know the truth? Probably 99% of the time, that movement, it's just noise. Nothing truly important is actually happening.
And that false urgency, it's like a light switch that just flips on our most basic, primal trading impulses. You know the ones: fear of missing out, greed for that one big score, the sheer agony of impatience, and of course, that toxic hope that a losing trade is just going to magically turn around. It doesn't matter how great your strategy is on paper. It is completely useless the second these emotions are in the driver's seat. This really captures the two different realities perfectly. The beginner's mind sees a tangled mess of chaos. They feel this constant nagging urgency to just press a button. But the calm mind, they see the exact same information, and it looks like a clear, flowing river. They see the patterns underneath, they feel patience, and they only act when the picture is truly, undeniably clear. So here's a mental shift that changes everything. Your emotions, they're not the enemy. They're just signals. Think of them like a dashboard light in your car. The goal isn't to rip out the lights, it's to stop swerving the car off a cliff every time one blinks. Discipline is simply that tiny little pause you create, that space between feeling the emotion and obeying its command. And this brings us to what might be the most underrated and, honestly, the most profitable skill in all of trading: the power of just waiting. See, we're all trained to think that doing nothing is passive or lazy, but in the markets, actively choosing to wait is one of the most powerful moves you can ever make. Every single successful trader learns this lesson, and usually it's after a lot of painful, expensive mistakes. The top performers out there, they're not the ones clicking the most buttons, not even close. They are professional waiters. They will sit patiently for hours, for days, sometimes even for weeks, for that one perfect moment, because they know that high-quality opportunities are actually incredibly rare. Think about it like this. When your mind is all clouded up with emotion and that false sense of urgency, all you can see is noise. Every little price movement is either a distraction, a threat, or a temptation. And in that state, it's basically impossible to see the bigger picture. But the moment your mind becomes calm, the chart becomes clearer. It's like the fog just lifts, all that noise fades away, and a story starts to emerge. You start to see the phases of the market. You see the expansion, the correction, the consolidation. Calmness literally changes what you are able to see.
So, after blowing up an account or two, after weathering enough of those emotional storms, almost every trader who actually survives in this business has the exact same aha moment. There's this single turning point where the whole game finally just clicks into place. So, what is that one universal lesson they all learn?
It's this, the absolutely stunning realization that most of your losses, they didn't come from a bad strategy. They came from impatience, from chasing a trade you missed, or jumping in way too early, or bailing out too soon. It's a really humbling moment, and it's the one that forces you to change absolutely everything. Look, understanding the problem is a huge first step, but how do you actually build this calm mind? How do you forge discipline when the market is trying to pull you in a million directions? Okay, let's move from theory into practice with some real actionable steps. First thing to remember, calmness isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill. It's a muscle you build through daily habits. Simple things like writing your plan down before the market opens, so your logic is set in stone before emotion kicks in. Or setting a hard limit on your trades to stop you from revenge trading. Or, and this is a big one, reviewing your performance based on how well you followed your plan, not on whether you won or lost. And maybe the most important, knowing when to just get up and walk away. And for those moments when you're right in the heat of a trade, your heart's pounding, here are 3 immediate steps. First, just pause. Do nothing. Create a little space. Second, look at your written plan. Ask yourself, does this situation fit my rules? And third, act deliberately, based on that plan, not on the fear or greed that you're feeling right now. And this all leads us to the ultimate truth of this entire business. You cannot control the market. You will never control the market. The only thing you can ever hope to master is yourself, your impulses, your discipline, your reactions. That is the entire game. So let's end on this thought. Losses are an unavoidable part of trading. Everybody takes them. The true master, the calm trader, they aren't defined by having a perfect win rate. No way. They're defined by their unshakable ability to stay in control of themselves no matter what the market throws at them.